Till she joins, let's chat. I think she's online now. Yeah, here I see Mona. So definitely, let's. Mona, I've seen you. You've joined, so please come online. I'll bring. Yeah. So waiting.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Finally.
Finally. Hi. So good to see you. Hello. How are you
So
doing?
good to see you. Good. I've been good. How are you?
I'm very well. Let me just check. What are you wearing?
Okay. Here
I
I
well,
am. I'm
I
wearing.
don't. Oh my God, that's statement. That's statement.
Yes.
Absolutely
Absolutely.
fantastic. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I don't do this with any other guests. Believe me. So it's only
Yes.
with you.
Well, if I'm a jewelry designer, I have to be wearing something which is statement piece, right? Because that's my forte.
Super,
So
super. And how are you? How's lockdown treating you? Been
I
well?
guess Hong Kong has gone through phase 3 of the lockdown. We
Okay.
were, I think, we had zero lockdowns. We were very
Okay.
happy last
Okay.
literally few months. I mean, 2 months, no cases. So we were actually
Oh,
partying, you
lovely.
can say, back to normal. But I think last few days again we've started getting, and we are into phase 3. So again we're back into lockdown, and we're back into
Okay.
same thing: gym shut,
Such a
spa shut.
difficult phase
I
in
think
our
it's here to
lives
stay.
all over the world.
I think the virus is here to stay till the vaccine is out, and we've
Yes.
got to live with it. You know, whether we like it or not. Where the
True.
mask can go out, mask has
True.
become compulsory. So in Hong Kong, otherwise we are fined with 5,000 Hong Kong dollars. So
Right.
you see, I mean, even the small child infant is wearing a mask to that
Hmm.
extent.
Yeah.
So, and people
So,
are very careful here in Hong Kong, you know. I mean, they really maintain it. I mean, they want,
so
even if in
that's
a
good.
bus queue or any queue, they maintain a distance. And if somebody's in a rush, they'll say, okay, you go. If you're in a rush, you go. And it's, you know, they put them in an embarrassing spot where you are
Yes.
like, okay, you know, I don't want to break the line. I want to be in the line and things like that.
Yeah,
So,
and this awareness is very important for
very
all of
important.
us. Yeah. Otherwise,
Absolutely.
can get really difficult if
Absolutely,
that awareness is
absolutely.
not
The
there.
people have to follow it. The government can do a lot, but then it's up to the people to maintain it. I mean,
Right.
they
Right.
also have limitations, but we as you know, obedient citizens have to
Yeah.
take it forward.
So
Yes.
let's get down to business.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, in short, if you just tell us what is your journey like has been, how did you start, and where are you right now? Just a little bit on that. Maybe everyone would like to know.
Yes. Well, I'm actually by profession a textile designer. I passed
Okay.
in scholarship from Sophia College. I worked with Garden Silk, and then I moved to Hong Kong.
Hmm.
And when I moved to Hong Kong, there was actually a buyer who was actually looking for a designer. You know, because they wanted to do a lot of accessories, and you know, they wanted somebody who could design. Bottom line, a designer, which was lacking in the 80s.
Right.
So I've been in Hong Kong for 32 years. So I came here in 88, and I've been here since. And that's how I started. I mean, so this was somebody from Selfridges,
Okay.
from this department store in London, and they were the team was here, and they were looking, and then via media they got to know this is the designer who's here, and she's already been into textiles. And from textile to diversify into fashion is very easy. I still sketch, I still hold a pencil, I'm still old school. I can't do graphic. I'm still
Right.
sketching, I'll scan and I'll send it to my factory. My factory is in Brazil and Italy now that I'm working with my collection. So I send it to them, it comes here, the pieces that we have, we hold. So that's easy for us to sketch.
Yeah.
So coming back to how I started my journey is when I came here. So the team was here when they trained me, they told me what needs to be done, etc. And that's how I started my journey with Selfridges. Then came the other store called Galerie Lafayette in Paris, and then 28 department stores in
Wow.
UAE. So I started building it up over a span of
Fantastic.
18 years. I started with one store, ended with 32, and at one point I was dealing with
Wow.
150 factories all over the world. So, and Hong Kong being such a center spot, I would say, in Asia, you have all the suppliers who exhibit here, and that's where you go and
Right.
you meet your vendors and
It's
things
like
like
the
that.
hub. It's like the hub where
It's a hub, it's a major hub.
everyone meets.
I think I was blessed that way. And then I started with jewelry, moved to handbags, then sunglasses, fashion belts, jewelry watches, kids collection. I didn't
Hi,
spare
Hemant.
anything.
Yeah. Hemant has joined us.
I love Hemant. I love Hemant. I mean, he's my guru. He's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. He's an encyclopedia
of many people. We all, I think, adore him. Yeah.
I love him. I love him. He's amazing. Super talented.
Rajan Chogle says that she's still the same Mumbai chi mulgi.
Mulgi. Rajan is actually was Bombay Times top photographer in Bombay Times.
Yeah.
A very dear friend of mine.
Yeah.
So yes,
so, absolutely. It's Hong Kong is badi nahi. Mumbai is always there in the heart. Of course, I think Mumbai never leaves you. You can leave Mumbai, but
the Bombay will never leave you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you've gone off your camera switched, Ananya.
Yeah, back.
Yes,
back again.
You're back.
yeah, absolutely. Now, just tell us about a little bit, like how different is it when you design internationally and when you are in India? So, as far as design is concerned, so will the traditional Indian wear will it have any value there? The antique jewelry, because Indians are very fond of, you know, I'm actually very fond of my grandmom's jewel. I'll never really alter them or make it modern. I love them. So how do you value that? I mean, that has aesthetic value there in Hong Kong or in Europe.
Hong Kong, what happens is, Ananya, because it's such a cosmopolitan country, we have a lot of expat community here is very big.
Right.
You know, we have a lot of Caucasians and Lebanese and Spanish, and you know, it's mini New York. So when you're looking at that, they do not value the Indian jewelry as much as they value the international. They wanted something like fusion, because for us, Indian jewelry, we value it more.
Yeah.
Our sentiments are like, oh, my grandmothers, great grandmothers, and we want to retain it as it is because it's timeless.
Same here. I would also be timeless.
Yeah, it's classic and timeless. You don't even want to touch it. But internationally, they don't. They don't value it so much. They'll appreciate it, yes, but they won't be bold enough to wear it because they say it's not me. It's not my style. It's too Indian for me. I don't like it so much. So when it comes to things like that, that's when you know that, yes, you're looking in for fusion. You're looking in for the mass.
Yeah.
And now even India is changing, you know, with all the destination weddings, though it's not happening for the current scenario. But otherwise with destination weddings, you have the welcome dinner. That's when you want to wear Western. You don't want to wear Indian. You wear Indian only for the typical ceremony, traditional, etc.
Yeah.
But otherwise, even in reception, people are wearing very Western and gowns, and very few you will see them in saris or anything. Which is sad. I still love the sari. Saris are Indian classic statements. It's a national costume and shapes. I mean, it shapes and wears any size, and anybody can wear it and drapes anybody. And anybody can.
I love wearing saris. I think Indians, in fact, ladies look best in saris.
The best. Yeah, absolutely. The comfort level it's just immense there. The grace comes straight for an Indian woman in a sari.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess because of that, the Indian jewelry is not as much. Now talking about getting my work done in India is I tell you, still India lacks professionalism. Working from Hong Kong and working overseas with so many other companies all over the world, I think India still lacks professionalism. I mean, this is a small case, I'll tell you. I was exhibiting at Lakme Fashion Show. I mean, I had made my jewelry in Italy. I had all across to India, everything. It's only the costumes. Even the costumes, I got it from here. It's only the shorts and the trousers I had to make it there. I got the fabric, I gave it to the tailor, and he says, "2 din mein ho jayega. Samjho ho gaya." That's the dialogue they give me. Consider it done. Right. Now, I cannot consider it done till it is actually done. And he said in 2 days. I said, fair enough. And I was way ahead of my time, like I'm always used to. And I go, 2 days, oh, not done. Oh, I had some other thing come in. I go after 4 days, not done. I'm going every day, not done. I got so angry. I said, just give it to me. I'll give it to another tailor. Then he was like, oh, this one's livid. You know, this woman is like gone seriously, she's gone mad. He's saying, yeah, aurat pagal ho gayi. You know, I'm like, excuse me, you're sitting on it for 20 days and don't tell me, and it's only 3 shorts and 3 trousers. But to get that done was a nightmare. And after that, I said, I'll never get anything.
Yeah, true. Hemant says the first time I saw Mona was sitting opposite each other at fashion show Ram. I wasn't watching the clothes, but was staring at Mona's gorgeous neck piece. Oh wow!
Right?
So,
that's true.
Wow.
That was amazing. You know, first thing is I love Hemant. Right? He's like my guru. And then I'm always wanting to meet him. So we were sitting at a Lakme fashion show, and it was Nita Lulla's fashion show. He was right across to me. I was watching and staring him because I didn't want to lose him after the show. I wanted to meet him. And he was also looking at me. So the minute the show finished, the lights dimmed, I jumped over the ramp and I said, I'm a big fan of yours. I love you. I love you. I love you. He was like, I love your necklace. I'm like, oh my God. And that's the way we met. And we met onwards. And oh my God, Hemant is
fantastic.
Super.
So I think he spoke about some gorgeous pieces what you made. Those are the statement jewelry pieces. What you're wearing, something similar or
no? So I'll show you. I have a few as well. So I guess you know.
Okay.
This is another statement piece, as you see. Yeah. So you know, it's like I would just say you wear one. It's less is more is my mantra. So you know, it's different. This is my another tribal collection, as you see.
Okay.
You know, so we have
what is the metal you work on? Is it
the metal? The base metal is brass. They're all gold plated, but my base metal is brass, and this is wood. So this is half wood, and then half I have a kind of made it into an elastic, a stretchable one, so it can fit all necks. But then I have painted it to match the wood, and so you have things like this, and then you have another collection like this.
Oh wow, nice.
You know, so you know, you just wear one piece, and
it's like a statement piece, and
it's a statement piece. You don't need to wear anything more.
I would say just a white shirt, and you wear this, it's fantastic.
That's it. You need, you know, even if you're with your denims and you're having a white shirt, you just throw this over. If you have something printed here,
Hemant will have a better view, but I think even I can say that it's just a white shirt or a dress. And a piece like this.
What I'm wearing, just a navy blue dress, and I just throw this over and you're done. You know, or if you're wearing something printed on the top and it's short sleeves, then don't wear a necklace because it's already too much. You either wear some small tops or then you match it with a cuff like this.
Okay, nice.
So what I'm trying to say is see your comfort level. Don't go for something which is just loud and mix it with your jewelry. Style your jewelry in such a way that everything stands out, whether it's your dress, because see what happens when you're going out for a party, dress takes up 75%, right? But it's the accessory that makes it or breaks it.
So I was coming to that point. Good, you said it. So how important is accessorizing? That's what
extremely important. Extremely important. So basically, like I'm saying, I'm just wearing a navy blue dress. Right now, it's this that is standing out. If I didn't have anything over here, it'll be such a plain, boring dress. But even the earrings will not fit because the dress is very plain. So at things like this, you wear more of jewelry, make it a statement. But if you're going, depending on your comfort, there are some women who are top heavy. If they're top heavy, then you can go in for a nice long necklace, which will make them look slimmer.
Okay.
So something like, you know, a nice long plain necklace, but it still stands out. It makes a statement. So it's still there. Right. And or you know, some people who are more comfortable with earrings. So, you know, this is actually, I've put 2 earrings here just to give it a color, a difference of color. Now, something with this is one factory in the world. This is only one factory in the world that's making it. The reason behind is basically it's got no metal. It has acetate at the back. So it's light as a feather. The only metal is the pin, which is here.
So this lightness is a very big factor for me, at least I've seen.
Yes.
You might find a very pretty earring, but after 1 hour, you're dying.
I agree. So that's why I keep trying all the earrings that I make it at the factory. Once they have made one piece, the first piece comes to me. Because even I have very fine earlobes. So I have to wear it, and if it's heavy for me, I will cut off the design. I will make sure the metal is less, or I will change into a stone which is a much lighter volume. So because we all women, I think we go through. We want to look beautiful. I think we go through a lot when we just have to look beautiful, and so this pains and this pains and the earlobe starts stretching because of the same thing. So it's very important for a designer to ensure that their jewelry, when they're wearing it, or you wear it before, or when they're worn, they have to be light and comfortable. So that's why I have this.
Also, is it like if you are heavy on earrings? I think the neck piece should be minimal, isn't it?
Yeah. Then you don't wear anything. If it's too long a earring, something like this, then like I'm saying something like this.
Right.
Then you don't wear anything in the
then you
neck.
Can't wear a heavy anything.
No, then you cannot. These earrings were worn on the Oscar ramp. So they were worn on the Oscars in 2016.
Wow.
By a celebrity, Danielle Robe. She had worn this. So this I call them my Oscar earrings. So she had worn it on a black maxi dress. So because she had a halter kind of a maxi dress and she had worn this. So it's something like this. So if you have something in a halter maxi dress, then don't wear it because you already have a plunging line, neckline, and then you have a nice long earrings, and that's all you need.
I think that's
because then the necklace will not stand out. So it depends on the neck also of the dress, whether it is round, it is V, it's a halter, it's backless, it's a bandeau. Depending on all that, then you work with the jewelry.
What kind of? It's just a question. I'm curious. Chokers go well with what? If you say
chokers also go well with something like what I'm wearing. See, for example, this. If I put this at the back, okay, consider this that I don't have anything, and then there.
Okay. So then should your neck be a little broader for the choker to show?
No, like mine is a complete round neck, so it's not broader, but it's something like this. But it can go on even shirts, denims. It can go on anything. T-shirts. I mean, depends on the T-shirt, but also like a Shanghai Tang kind of a thing. You're wearing a Chinese collar, you can throw this over it also.
Okay, over it. Yeah, that's cool.
To emphasize it. But then again, chokers are restricted to people who have thinner necks. Somebody who has a wider neck and shorter
doesn't look good.
Doesn't look good. They may, the neck is not seen at all. Right. Then that's the time when you go for something which is like this. It comes lower. It comes lower.
Okay.
So it comes in the lovely. It's sitting there. Yeah. So this is a druzy. This is a it's a black druzy, and there are moon rocks, and then of course there are black onyx out here. So this is my latest collection. So again, this is another statement piece. When it's worn, it just makes heads turn.
So Mona, what the designs, what I'm seeing, they're excellent. They're beautiful, but they are little contemporary, isn't it?
Yes. It's contemporary because my style is very timeless.
Somebody wants to wear anything traditional. So will it go with say a traditional sari? No.
Traditional sari, then you have to funk it up. In the sense,
it has to be funky to.
That means that the sari has to be plain. So you're wearing supposing a chiffon sari. I would say a color red. You're wearing a red sari. Okay, chiffon red.
You can really wear something like this and make it look very contemporary.
Yes, yes.
Saris can be very cocktail as well, like a cocktail.
Very cocktail. So that's what I said. It's more cocktail. It's more like you wear a red sari with a sequins border, for example. Right. You have a black blouse, maybe a strapless or a bandeau blouse, a black blouse because black and red anyway stands out. And you don't want to wear earrings, which is boring. Then something like this would go. You see?
Actually.
This is beautiful. This is a classic one. So something like this would just stand out. That's all you need. Nothing in the ears, and maybe just a bracelet or if you want, and things like that. So yes, it depends on how you want to style the things with what you're wearing, what your saris. If it's traditional, definitely no. Then you go in with the jadaus and that jattas which we normally wear for traditional ceremonies and
that's true.
So that's how
you have to wear everything according to the ensemble and to the fit for the occasion. I think that's very important.
Yes, very, very important. Very important to select your jewelry and the clothing accordingly.
So somebody's saying, Beach, you should be in Bombay styling Bollywood.
I wish.
So, in fact, taking that point, I'm asking, have you thought about it? That coming
I'm
back to
already,
Bombay?
no, I'm actually styling Mrs. Hong Kong World. So
Okay.
I'm her stylist and her jewelry designer as well. So basically, so I do her styling. She, you know, when she's going for an event, she'll send me pictures like, Mona, this has come up suddenly, and I have to wear this. Now you select what it is. What is your jewelry? And you know, while going for the event, she will swing by my house, pick up what it has to, and she'll be wearing it in the taxi, and she'll be going. So what I'm saying is, I style her, which is always she stands out. She's South African, Natasha Crossan. She's an amazing lady,
Okay.
and so, and she's, because she's Mrs. Hong Kong World for 2019 and 2020. And this year there used to be the pageant, and the pageant is called off because of COVID. So I guess she still has the crown with her until 2021. So I do the styling, but my style is always like this, you know, something very, very different, very funky. I mean, the other day she was wearing some cape neck jacket and cape sleeve jacket, and I told her to wear this earrings.
Okay. Oh, nice.
So it's just, yeah, it's just something, and it just, she had denim, you know, denims down, white singlet, and she had the cape sleeve jacket, and she's just wearing these earrings with her hair in a high ponytail, and it just looks stunning. She was going for a talk somewhere, you know. So this is what I like to do: play it differently with the event you're going it, you know, because you don't need a necklace. She was addressing at a university. It's nicer when she's just wearing a earring, cuff, and a finger ring.
Right. So just coming back to that Mumbai and India point. So have you ever thought of having something here, in the sense retail outlet, or supplying to some high-end stores, or so that people can access your jewelry here?
Yes, I'm actually with a lot of stores. I'm with the Bombay Airport, Lotus House. I'm with them for more than 7 years at the T2 International Airport. It's a store owned by Pinky Reddy, the owners of GVK Group.
Okay.
So I'm with them for over 7 years. I'm with Shirin, which is in Taj Lands End. I used to be with Azam, Ogra. Then I have T2 Divine. I have 2 Divine stores. And then I have Bangalore, I have Chennai. So basically I'm all over India. Yeah.
So one can, here in India, can own a Mona Shroff original.
Absolutely, absolutely. I have a lot of people, you know, buying it, tagging me in on Instagram.
Oh,
you know,
lovely,
an international crowd. An international crowd.
Nice. So that's super. And I think what I just saw, your pieces are very wearable. Anyone can wear with just a statement piece, and you're done. I think that's the best part. What I just saw.
Yes.
That's what I guess.
Now the brand mantra is less is more.
Because I'm a chef, I have to come back somehow. The conversation has to revolve a little bit around food. Yeah. So what's your favorite cuisine? What's your favorite food? If you just say that, share.
So I'm a Gujarati. So I love my undiyu khandvi dhokla.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a Gujarati, Shroff, right? So I love my undiyu khandvi dhokla. I love my home cooked food, which I cook. I cook a lot at home. And the second cuisine is,
you cook Gujarati food at home in Hong Kong?
Yes, Gujarati, but I use a lot of. I don't make it sweet. Nothing is sweet. Like nothing is meetha dal or anything. It's all like Punjabi dal and palak paneer, or paneer with mushrooms, and you know, something I'll cook in. I do make fish. Fish, and so I like my fish. And of course, the second cuisine is Chinese. Dim sums. Living in Hong Kong.
Yeah,
love the dim sums here. They're the best. Nothing like Indian Chinese. They don't have too much of masalas or anything. It's just the natural flavors of all the vegetables and everything, which is just phenomenal. And
Indian Chinese cuisine has traveled all across the globe, and wherever it has gone, it has picked up the local flavors. So in India, we have Indian Chinese. Wherever we go, we can eat that cuisine. It has that flavor. And the funny thing, I used to live in Germany, and the Chinese used to taste like German food. Seriously. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I find the Indian Chinese is too salty because they put so much of soya sauce inside.
So much, yeah.
Too much, too much.
And Indian Chinese is a lot of dhania, not dhania jeera, but a lot of ginger, garlic, everything, and a dash of soy sauce. Then it becomes Indian Chinese.
Oh, Indian and green chilies,
Not
not to
Indian.
miss the misty, not to
Yeah.
miss the green chilies. Oh, it has to be spicy-fied.
The Chinese don't eat like that, definitely.
Hemant is saying just like me, you like the Guju food.
Yeah, Hemant likes the Chinese Oriental food as well because yeah,
I love the Japanese food here. We get awesome Japanese food here because we're in Asia.
I love Japanese food.
We have flights flying in every day with the food and Thai food, and I think we have the authentic, cuisines here.
Any small recipe you want to share with the viewers? Just a small, just offhand something or.
Yeah, I mean, you want something in vegetarian, you want something in
anything which is your favorite or your signature, what you make at home or something. Just
I'm a person which goes in the kitchen, doesn't stay in for too long, but makes something very healthy because I've been gymming for 27 years. So I don't eat anything. I don't even eat wrong food. I eat anything, even if I'm making, for example, I tried a beetroot cutlet the other day. But I don't fry my cutlets. It's pan roasted. So I made it out of quinoa. I eat a lot of quinoa to cut off the processed carbs. So I boil the quinoa. You can boil the quinoa, keep aside.
Right.
Beetroot, chop it very fine after it is boiled. I added a lot of vegetables like cauliflower, French beans, carrots. I threw in spinach and coriander, spring onions. Green chilies I sauteed and threw it in. And then I took one small potato for binding because quinoa cannot bind. So I took a small potato, boiled it and put it inside for binding. And with all this, I made it into a small round, like a ball or a cutlet shape, and this pan fried it. But it's like one thing I make, but it's super healthy.
I might. Okay. I've got a lot of people I know that they spray a little oil. If you want to really go healthy, instead of frying, even pan frying, you can just spray and then bake it in the oven. Then it's even more healthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yours is also good. That was a nice signature recipe.
That was a quick one, but you eat something, but you get everything. And it's not even processed carbs. It's complex carbs. And then another one I can share with you is another salmon dish. I love salmon.
Yeah.
So normally you get a fillet of salmon. You do too, right?
Yeah.
So you get a fillet of salmon. You grease the pan for the oven. Put the salmon, just put in, with a fork, just hold it off. Put little salt, black pepper, olive oil, and cut garlic very fine. Just put it over it and let it go in the oven for about 20 minutes. Okay. And on the other side for the dressing, I take avocado. Cut the avocado into
another favorite of mine.
Yeah, avocado is a great fruit. I guess it's a fruit now. So it cut into about an inch. Cut onion, also take a bit of onion, cut it so in about an inch size, same. Right. Put it all together. Parsley, throw that in. Lemon, squeeze in 2 big lemons inside. Salt, black pepper. Mix it.
So when you take out the salmon, you put the dressing on top?
Yeah, but while the salmon is in the oven, you do this. So in the meantime, with the salt and all that, the onion leaves its juice. Hi, Achu. So the onion leaves its juice, and then it becomes like a gravy, gravy. So when the salmon is out from the oven, you pour it over it. So that becomes a nice recipe.
So fantastic. Mona doesn't only do jewelry; she shared recipes also, and not one but two. Fantastic. Two. Great fun. So just So just so do you plan ever to have an exhibition or anything in India? Now, this situation, what we are facing these days, I'm keeping that aside. I'm just saying that suppose everything is normal, things normalize a bit, then any plans of that?
Yes, I would love to. I would love to actually have an exhibition.
We have to taste even food, Mona. Hemant says that. Okay.
Hemant, right? We need to meet Hemant once the lockdown is done. I need a big jappi, Hemant. A big jappi from you. So yes, I would love to have an exhibition. I'm planning to. In fact, all my fashion shows which were planned for this year have moved to next year.
Right.
Because of COVID. So I think, and they were all international. They were not domestic, but they were all international. So it's quite sad to what extent COVID has affected, and it's taken the world under its belt.
So where do you see this industry going now? The jewelry, because honestly speaking, who will wear jewelry now since we are not going out? Just can wear something small, and suppose I'm having a live today, I can wear some maybe an earring and
and that you feel dressy because you're not going out and you're feeling it too much. But
once I start maybe going out, I would like to flaunt something.
Absolutely. But in Hong Kong, actually, it's picking up because we hear things are open. There were a lot of parties, birthday parties, and all that. So I've been having a lot of appointments.
People are doing it.
Yes, last week I think my whole social can went up. It just spiked. I was lunch out, dinner out. I was out every single day. So I guess that was really nice. And now again, this whole week we're confined to home, and a lot on Zoom and Insta Live or whatever. We are going on it, but people are still buying out here in Hong Kong. India will, I think, take some time. Especially the fine jewelry industry has been hit quite badly. Talking of fine jewelry. And talking of that, we have the lab-grown diamonds on that note that has come in. So, lab-grown diamonds is another future.
Yes, I wanted to talk to you about that. So if you can just tell us a little bit on this, because people can't really afford a lot of gold and diamond, the real stuff. So is there a solution to that?
So that's where lab-grown diamonds come. So basically, this is actually grown in a laboratory. So when you're talking of, so it's basically, you can see the seed of diamond, and then artificially it is grown. Now, De Beers has also authenticated. They are also coming out. They are making colored stones, colored diamonds as well. They're light pink, and they're coming in with sapphires, and they are making it themselves.
So it is De Beers is coming up with lab-grown diamonds.
De Beers is coming out with it.
Really? Oh.
Yes. They've started making rose pink, baby pink, rose, ruby, sapphires. So the colors, they're coming out with colors. And I have partnered with a factory which is one of the biggest in Asia Pacific, and they are making diamonds. They are not yet venturing out into colored diamonds yet, but they are big in normal diamonds. So till about 3 carat, it's fine. But you won't believe it, Ananya. It's about, you can say the price is 1/3 the price of
real diamonds. Saying, but you also get real colored diamonds. Of course you do.
You do. But that's of course very expensive.
At a price.
That's again very expensive. Yes, but this is actually tomorrow's future, lab-grown diamonds. And it's actually going to be millennials' favorite. There is no two ways about it. And I think even I would go for it because it has a color quality as well. If you go for DEF, it comes for VS, VVS1, VVS.
So whatever the parameters are for diamonds, the same parameters will be used for the colored one, the lab-grown ones. You mean to say?
Wow. Yes, and they are gemologically certified. So they have the certificate.
As glittery, as brilliant,
as glittery. The cutting is the same or maybe better. Secondly, you cut out blood diamond. You're cutting out child labor. You're cutting out a lot of other things. So you're cutting out everything. So it's so much cheaper. And it's the same. The shine, the luster.
You're doing something good to the nature, I guess.
Yes. And actually, when they're manufacturing it as artificially, like how they are in the mountains, they have a lot of local gases coming in within the mountains, right? That's how the diamond is grown. We're having the same format, but we are pushing in gas artificially through tubes.
So tell me, what is the difference between this lab-grown diamond and American diamond, which we readily find?
That's the
Swarovski.
Yeah, the Swarovskis and all are crystals. They are not diamonds. They're crystals. They're complete crystals. They're glass.
What are they?
They're glass.
Okay.
They're glass.
So they're cut glass.
Swarovski is glass. Cubic zirconia is glass. It's all glass.
Okay.
But CZ is
okay. Now today I got
yeah. So CZ and all is crystals. It comes into the crystal category. And the lab grown diamonds come in the diamond category. You have the the original diamond as we
So,
say.
is there any way to suppose only an aced jeweler will understand whether it's lab grown, or you cannot make out?
You cannot make out. In fact,
Oh
my
my God.
factory, even my factory people who are looking at diamonds day in and day out, they
Yeah.
says even we don't know which is lab grown.
Wow. So why
Yes.
would anybody buy diamond then?
Exactly. But see what happens in India, this is not very welcome because jewelers are holding on to 2 carats, 5 carat authentic real diamond, and they
Right.
don't want this lab grown coming in because what diamonds they have bought it at what price, and they're holding on that they sell it at a premium.
Right.
Now this is like literally squashing the market completely.
Oh God. Huh.
Yeah. So that's
when
how
you're next in Mumbai, Mona, you just have to savor Chef Ananya's incredible meals. I'm a complete fan. Thank you, Hemant. He's the sweetest.
he's a darling.
Yeah.
I think how much ever. I think I can use all the adjectives on Hemant. Simple.
Yeah, I've been sending him meals and he loves them. So that's what he's saying, that you must try.
Okay. I heard the chat you had with Hemant, and his Friday handyman has gone away and he's quite lost, and his neighbors are actually giving him food and everything. Yeah. But Hemant is a lovable person. Anybody will do anything for him. Simple.
True, I agree. Absolutely agree to that. So just coming back to the lab grown diamond, I'm very interested. So then anybody nowadays, and how different is the price? Just
it's one third.
comparison,
If you're talking for
to
example,
a
I'll
diamond.
give an example. 1 carat diamond. I had an inquiry. I'd gone to meet a client, and she was looking for a carat of emerald shape. Emerald shape diamond. She wanted specifically for her daughter. And emerald shape are normally, it's more expensive than the normal round shape because these are all, as we call, premium cuts. So that diamond would be about a carat, would be about 8,000, 9,000 US.
Okay.
In real. In real. But if you're looking at lab grown, it comes to like 2,500 to 3,000 US. So you see the price?
Wow. And is there a resale value like that?
Yes, it's certified. It's certified, right? You have a certificate. When you go for 1 carat, 2 carat, 3 carat,
then I see no reason why should a person buy diamond if it looks the same.
Absolutely. See, the luster is the same, the cut is the same, the shine is the same, and you have the color quality is the same.
I think now I'm ready for a rock. I'm ready for a rock.
Anytime, and it's affordable. And it's actually affordable.
I don't need anybody to gift me one. I'll just buy one.
You can gift yourself. Happy birthday to me.
Yes. Next time, my birthday. I know.
Absolutely.
Super.
Absolutely.
This was a really nice, good knowledge sharing. Thank you. Very nice.
Welcome. No, absolutely. Thank you
guys,
for reaching out.
In case you guys have any questions for Mona, please ask. I asked all the questions because I was very curious to know what goes on, and it was fantastic. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, jewelry is a vast area, Ananya. I mean, it can go from where to where. Somebody would tell me, "Oh, I'm also a jewelry designer," but the styling is different. The designing is different. I do statements. They don't do. They might not be doing statements. They might be doing lighter stuff. But still, the category of jewelry is very vast. That's the whole thing.
Because in India, we are so used to seeing one particular type. Although we do see some modern contemporary things happening and people exhibiting and through that, but from our childhood days, we are used to seeing.
Because we've heard our grandmothers and mothers say, "Oh, Shadi mein jana means only jadao." But that is not the real thing. You have the temple jewelry from the south, which is also fantastic.
Even our Bengali jewelry is very different. We don't have jaraos or diamonds actually. It's all gold. But the workmanship is very different.
Very different. Absolutely. Yeah. And jadao is more from the Gujarat, Rajasthan.
Exactly.
So we all are grown up with the jadaos.
How
How
does she maintain her aura like a diamond, which is priceless? Oh, wow. That was some compliment.
Thank you. And who was that? Who was that?
Anjulika.
Angie. She's a doctor. Yeah, she's doctor with Kaya Clinic. She's amazing lady herself. So she's quite high-end lady herself. But haven't seen her in a very long time. So they were all saying, you come on Insta, at least we'll watch you live, how you look like today.
Yeah, I think it's the next best thing other than, meeting a person live.
Yes.
So
Yes, absolutely.
At least you're connected to the world, and I think through my Insta live, I'm feeling normal, that I'm connected to the world. Otherwise, I've not stepped out of my home for last 4 months. So
I know. I can't handle it. I mean, you guys, I mean, literally, I would just do this and salute you guys. I mean, sitting in the house for 4 months, just within those four walls. And I guess I learned from friends and all that when they go out and it's beyond 7. But I don't even blame the cops. They're doing their job, the front line. I think however we say, they are leading a tough life. They're not going back home. I mean, they're trying to save everybody, which is
okay. There's a question. Sorry, I'm taking the question because Hemant is asking, Mona, for the conservative yet fashionable women, what would you create for a client like that?
So basically, you're looking at conservative and
fashionable. Yep.
So conservative or something and fashionable, I would go for something like this, which is still there, as you see. Okay. It's colorful. It's there. It's conservative. Or if somebody is still more conservative and are looking for something more, then pearls. There you go. It's timeless. You can wear it on anything, with anything. It's a kameez with sarees, with so it's up to it's just something that you would want to wear. Or if you're looking in for something, then you go in for something like this, hoop earrings. A statement. It's earrings, it's hoop, and it still makes a huge statement.
So what would be the most funkiest thing you've designed? Conservative, yes, I've seen.
My funkiest are my couture lines. That's only one piece I make. My couture lines. That's only one piece I make, but it is like, wow. It is a big, like this is my couture line, one. So it's just one. There is no more. And it's a big size, but yes, it is like, it's there. It's loud. It's loud enough. So, and I have bigger pieces than this, which normally it's worn on the ramp as my showstopper would wear it or something like that. It goes bigger. It goes bigger.
Lovely. Great chatting with you, seriously. Very nice. Very nice pieces what you've shown us, and great insights.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hope to see you soon, sometimes in Bombay when things are normal and things open up.
Yes.
Have a great show or have a great exhibition over here. And we
would love to. And I want to do a fashion show with Hemant. That is something on my wish list.
Yeah,
and Hemant is here.
Perfect collaborate. Both of you collaborate. And
yes, perfect time to actually reach Hemant's ears. That I want to do a fashion show with him.
Yeah. Ananya ma'am, please save the chat. It was amazing. Absolutely, I will do that. All my chats are saved in IGTV as IGTV video, so you can even if you have missed some part, you can always see that later.
So lovely.
Yeah. So even if your friends who missed the chat due to timing or other conditions, they can always come back and view the chat. Definitely.
Yes, because there are a lot of people who are viewing from Nepal, Bangladesh. There is a lot of logins from Malaysia.
Yeah.
From I think everywhere.
So you can always look up. Just have to. You can share it in your feed as well, or they can come to Chef Ananya Banerjee and look it up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. So thank you very much. You take care and stay well, stay good, and keep creating lovely stuff.
Lovely.
Fantastic.
Thank you for the blessing. Thank you for connecting and reaching out, Ananya. It's really a pleasure.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Take care.
God bless.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. And guys, just signing off. And I do these live chats with people from all walks of life. It was amazing chatting with Mona today. See you next time very soon at 6 p.m. Today is Friday, so see you on Monday. God bless. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.